Yeah, we're aware. We know.
We know. Anyway.
All right, so let's read this awesome post here.
Yes, because there was interesting post from the official forums regarding opinions about whether or not the ultimate raids should be walled off by challenge.
Yep, so here we go.
All right.
I honestly don't understand why Ultimate Savage content is locked behind O4S. And
we don't know that it is, as Nika went to great lengths to explain.
But everyone is assuming. Everyone's assuming that's
you're
what
right.
that means.
No. I agree with you, Nika. Everyone is jumping to conclusions.
I can already hear some of you claim I am probably just some inexperienced player who is only bitter because he'll never clear it. Well,
no, what I'm saying is that you're jumping to conclusions based on a probably poorly translated statement.
Well, you would be wrong. Not about that, but about the thing I just said.
Oh.
I have cleared everything. Every tier, including Gordius, before nerfs was a thing.
Ooh.
On O4S, and will most likely kill it tomorrow due to having a pretty shaky raid schedule.
Oh, man, look at this guy's big penis.
Now that this disclaimer is out of the way, we can get to the gist of it.
Hang on, can we just talk? Can we just for a few minutes here really just marvel at this guy's perfect, fragrant penis? Is that possible? Because clearly he's got the best penis ever to have ever penised anywhere in the history of penises.
Somewhere Juxta is getting really excited right now.
Penis is air quotes huge.
Juxta is getting a boner and he has no idea why.
And believe me, I know all about swallowing.
That was a bad one.
It was okay.
I don't get to use it often.
But yeah, no, I think that, listen, this guy did not pat himself on the back enough about how much he's accomplished in FF14. And so I really think that we need to really highlight this guy and his contributions to the endgame community of this wonderful MMO. I think we really need to do that. So thank you. Thank you for your amazing contributions and your upstanding penis.
Jesus, did you even try?
It's a very big penis.
It is.
He goes on to say, there is absolutely zero reason for SE to exclude players from entering Ultima Savage. Even if they will never be able to clear it, they should still have the option of being able to enter the fight. These people pay just as much as O4S players.
Oh God! Can we retire this argument? Can we
please?
I just find this so weird that it's coming from someone that already can clear content. Just who cares then?
He can't. He's clearly this guy is delusional, and he masturbates to the thought of being able to clear content because that's the only thing that he values. And so I think that he actually can't clear any of this content, and that he's making up a persona that is able to clear it and is able to talk confidently about it.
So people can't automatically dismiss him.
That's right.
Yeah. I understand that players who are serious about clearing Savage Ultimate do not want people who are inexperienced, but it's incredibly easy to bypass this. Just as is the case with Extremes, for example, you can make it so that only clearers of set Extreme Primal can join. Why not give PF creators the same option, so that when they are serious about Ultimate Savage progression and only want experienced people, only O4S clearers can join. That way, people who have no intent of clearing or have never cleared O4S can at least experience it. I am absolutely baffled that 95% are denied this content when such a simple solution would not deny them this fight. Inclusion is not a bad thing in this case.
Listen,
what's wrong with having hard content that's only for the best players? What is wrong with
Dude, nothing. He just wants people to be able to go in.
Why are we
denying them entrance?
I mean, we're not. I mean, we could start there.
Hold up, don't you have to clear hard mode versions of fights to do extreme mode primals?
Yeah.
Don't you, didn't you have to do normal mode Alexander to go into Savage?
Yeah.
Hell, and back in the beginning of 2.0, you actually had to clear each of the like Garuda and Ifrit and Titan
I don't know,
in order
like,
to get to the next one.
I think, Nika, I think that you brought up a remarkably good point that it doesn't explicitly say that we have to clear O4S to be able to go in.
It doesn't, but even if that is the case, so what?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
even if you do have to clear it, like, who cares? So what? Like, it's nothing new to have to do a fight to get into the next fight.
Yeah. The fact
And
makes
especially
sense to me.
because you can't even like they changed it, I think, for this go around, but I'm pretty sure that back during Coil you had to clear T5 to get to T6.
You did.
And you had to clear
You absolutely
T9 to
did.
get to
It was-
T10.
it was
You don't
like
have
that
to
originally.
for Alex.
Right.
Yeah.
But Coil, you had to. But the thing is what you'd do is you would just wait until the next one came out. Then the next eye level came out. Then you'd go back and only clear the final one. Like we actually tested that out, I think, with Juxter, Callow, or
Yes.
somebody. We actually took them in to just Twintania, cleared it for them, and then we found out, oh, you don't have to clear them all.
Majoga in the chat saying the only requirement I could see is actually having to beat Coil, which
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
I think you should have to have cleared
Yeah,
Coil. Absolutely.
yeah, totally.
If I'm just
Not
saying, if
that
they,
it's
if,
Or at least
nowadays.
T13 and nothing.
yeah, clear T13. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying if they said like, no, you have to do O4S to go into here, I'd be fine with that. That makes sense to me.
I'd be okay with that too.
The
because
only
they-
thing-
they said they want to give the players that are already beating the hardest content more to do.
Yeah.
Why would? That's what it's for. Just let that content exist, please.
There's
I
a
agree.
little lore side of me that finds a little bit like I have to clear Omega to fight Bahamut again, but
I can see that from a lore perspective.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
make a ton
It
of
doesn't make sense.
That's why I don't understand why they're going back to this being Bahamut. Why didn't they make it an ultimate Mega Omega Savage?
Yeah, real
because so many people think so fondly of Bahamut that they're probably like, oh man, this will get people back into raiding.
I mean, maybe.
Especially if you have
Maybe.
to clear O4S to do it.
It does feel like a bit of a nostalgia play. Let's go to our phone lines and talk to Sly. What's going on, Sly?
What's going on? How you doing?
Yo,
Oh my God,
That
dude!
voice is like chocolate, isn't it?
Dude, your
So
fucking
good.
mic is
Oh.
amazing. It sounds very good today.
Sly, I'm aroused.
That's not hard to do.
Yeah, don't
It's not that hard.
stop arousing Ascalia. Anyway, what's up, Dan?
I'm sorry.
I mean, can't really help
first,
it.
let me address the poster with the big penis. I'm black, so fight me, bro. Secondly, yeah, I'm amongst the demographic that's okay with locking it behind, having to clear, Savage O4S.
Sure.
Yeah,
Seems
I'm
like,
okay
seems
with
like you
that.
should have to clear the next easiest content to do the hardest content.
I mean,
right?
it does feel like a bit of a concession with the drop down in difficulty that we've seen between Alexander and Omega, right? Like Alexander really challenged the entire community at a point where I think that the community was much more vibrant, especially at the end game level.
Yeah.
Than Omega did. Omega was cleared in less than 24 hours. I think it took at least a couple of weeks for people to gear up to be able to meet that DPS check for Alex 4. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's definitely a difference. And I think that if you take that concession and you make that final confrontation, like that, if you lighten up that challenge enough so that it can be completed in something like 24 hours, that's a pretty reasonable reward to get on the other side of that. Does it include all parts of the FF14 audience and community? No. Should it?
Of course not.
No. Doesn't have to.
Exactly.
And I think by locking it behind clearing a certain thing like O4S, it takes out the middleman, because you let's say, okay, it's unlocked, anybody can do it. What are the casual to mid core is going to do? I mean, half of the mid core will be able to do it, half won't.
Right.
And the half that won't will just get into it, say, oh my God, this is too hard. Why did you put this in the game? It takes out the middleman of having to deal with those complaints.
No, I agree. I think the only thing that I think is a little bit confusing is why Square Enix would be throwing more content at that end of the community when the engagement rate is so low. I mean, people throw out, that less than 5% of the community actually participates in endgame rating. Now, with the ease in difficulty, you may have seen a little bit of an uptick between Heaven's Word and Stormblood.
Let's say 5 to 10 now.
Yeah, right.
5 to 10%. That said, if we had gotten yet another piece of content that was for the mid to low core, I'd lose my goddamn mind.
Okay, see, now
here's my question. How do they then, like in a few months, how do they look at this and determine whether or not it was successful?
Yeah.
Because you can't really look at like numbers and gauge, right? Because it's for such a low percentage.
Well, and again, and I think that this is in the end gonna end up feeling like it fits in that same place as Savage Binding Coil.
The original Savage mode. Yeah.
Exactly, right. Like where it's this extra thing that like only a very, very, very small percentage of the community does or even attempts, because not just because like it's difficult, but because the rewards don't make any goddamn sense. Right. I think that's my biggest problem with it, is that in terms of your reward structure, Square Enix still feels very gun shy about allowing people to power up past this arbitrary point that they've set for that patch.
Let's complain about it.
And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that is not the best way to do it. Like, I don't feel like that's a terribly satisfying way to not just design an MMO, but to play an MMO. Like, to be a player on the other side. Like, again, don't rely on me to make my own motivation and to make my own fun. That relies on me being so connected and so like obsessively wanting to play in the world that is just not.
There's an element of frustration of knowing you're going to be reset back to square one every other patch.
There is, but to Nero's point, if it relies on me to create my own motivation, that doesn't make your game very competitive, because the first game that comes along that motivates me to play that game, I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. The first game that I'm thinking about other than this game, I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like
PUBG. Let's go.
Like it's so true.
How much more PUBG than 14 of you played this week?
I think I probably logged 5 hours into PUBG, and I was on FF14 for like 40 minutes yesterday.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. Like,
and this isn't me being an apologist. I'm okay with the reward structure that Ultimate Savage has to offer. I was like, this is not me being content with what Second Coil Savage had, but I'm okay with, I was okay with the title and a new asshole. That's fine, because we're obviously going to get a new asshole, but a weapon I'm okay with. I mean, it depends on the stats. Basically.
Exactly.
We're like most of us already probably are BIS or even close to it.
Well, so someone in our chat room had brought up like it could affect BIS structure, and that's very true. But for the amount of difficulty that seems like it's involved in even participating in the event, that it should not even be a question, that it should be a foregone conclusion. It should be a goal. If you have to put in enough footwork to clear OS4 or O4S or whatever the fuck, then you know what? That reward has got to drive you, because it's not just at O4S that you get your reward. It's one fight after, and there's a good chance that fight is going to be even fucking harder. Yeah, so that reward has to be worth that legwork.
Agreed.
Yeah,
but the reward is worth it. But at the same time, when you really look at how many people have cleared O4S in this entire tier without being BIS, is it really worth it at that point?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't know what the percentages on clears are for O4S, but I know it's not high.
Yeah,
it's not super high. Yeah. Like, that's why this weapon needs to be worth it to make more people care.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because
it's like, if I know that I can just get the same high level weapon from clearing O4, why bother?
How many stories have we heard? And Nick, I think that you've actually gone through this a little bit too, where as you start to be, whatever one you're on, and people start to get gear up, some groups start to lose members, because why should I show up and keep slamming my face against this now that I'm fully geared? And you want to go one fight further for nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think part of that,
difficulty snake.
Yeah, if you go up another 5 eye levels and you can make it competitive, like, do you know how nice it would have been to think about, like, oh, that fight's really hard, but if I clear it and get my weapon, I don't have to tome grind next patch. Newsflash, I don't want a tome grind if I can avoid it. I do tome grinding because I have to, not because it's compelling content.
Yeah.
If you can say, like, if you get this clear, you can skip tome grinding. But Ascalia, then you will have nothing to do that patch. Well, that's a whole nother problem in and of itself.
Well, you would tome
but I would
grind for
rather
gear,
not
but
do
not
it.
for the weapon.
Yeah, exactly. I still get tomes, not for the weapon.
Like, you wouldn't have to bother about clearing the final, like, normal mode Omega, the next patch, in order to get the gears, in order to get the tomes for the whatever.
Right,
you could skip that part of it, which I think would be totally worth it.
Because the weapon is 3 weeks of tomes, right?
Yeah.
Minimum 3 weeks to get your tome weapon. Yeah, exactly.
Plus, you need 7 weeks of clear. Either you have to be able to clear the 3rd tier of the raid, or you need 7 weeks of clearing the story mode one.
Right.
So that you would eliminate that. You'd still have to tome grind for your gear, sure.
Yeah.
But it would eliminate the stress of the weapon. You could focus more on the gear. And I think that would be worth it for people.
And so that means that weapon effectively lasts me 3 patches, which is longer than anything you get right now in this game. That's totally worth it.
Hell, the O4S weapon will last you. I'm probably not gonna, once I get my weapon, I'm not gonna grind for my weapon next year.
That's fair.
Well, it's gonna be higher eye level though.
It will be. You'll be losing out on 5 eye level by doing that.
At the same time, like, you can probably still clear the content with the previous tier Savage weapon and be okay.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
But this isn't. But again, this isn't mid-level content, a la Palace of the Dead, where you can just you can queue up and keep trying to move through it and work towards your weapon. This is this is your raid group specifically trying for something. And dude, I can see if it's not specifically worth the trouble, having many raid groups approach it the same way that they would approach the second binding coil of Bahamut Savage, where they were just like, they would get to the end of binding coil, the second binding coil, and just be like, all right, we're done.
Well, yeah, I mean, once you're there.
Nika,
we ran into this.
Well, Nika, did you ever go back and get your titles from Binding Coil second, Savage second, whatever it was?
Yes, I'm wearing one right now.
Nice.
I mean,
I did not.
Hey.
That's cool.
How was it?
Each fight lasted about 8 seconds. So I mean, it really
so you did it far.
I did it like
past
a month ago.
Okay.
So I tried really hard. I actually had a static for it when it was relevant, but people just stopped showing up.
See, this is the story that I was baiting, and now, go ahead.
So yeah, basically, so I tried really hard. I've been one of the only people, I think, because I just wanted the title The Avatar, because I'm a huge fan of Avatar The Last Airbender,
which is about the only even remotely cool title.
So I really, really wanted that title. And so I was petitioning groups, and finally, like, the people in my free company were like, yeah, we've been running it through for people. Let's just run them all through for Nika. And I was like, sweet. So like each fight was literally 20 seconds or less. And I don't even remember the mechanics. Who fucking cares? They don't exist in 20 seconds. So
yeah, that's true. The fight's over before you know what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the olden days.
And it was that easy.
It's like the first time you do
we're 20 physical levels higher, and I can't even remember how many eye levels higher this
So
is.
I'm glad that we now have a context for what will happen in another 3 years when this content is easy enough to go through with a blindfold on. But
see, nobody's going to go back through it because it's not even a title. It's a weapon that's going to be so far irrelevant. It doesn't
Right.
Depends on how cool the weapon is.
I guess.
That's true. If it is really, really cool that it can actually be like a weapon lust, like you can look at someone wearing it and be like, holy fuck,
That's
that
a cool
guy has the
weapon.
ultimate weapon.
But
that
when
is so
was
cool.
the
But
last
it has
time
to be-
that happened?
It has to be really cool.
Yeah.
It
has to be like blow your mind. You've never seen anything so cool in your life. Cool. Or otherwise,
Kinda,
it's
yeah.
not worth
Fly
it.
out of my butt.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Or otherwise, no one will ever go back and do it. Even in 3 years when we're at level 90, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like in many ways, as much shit as we gave it for just having a title, in many ways, the title lasted longer than any weapon would have.
It's true because that title's so cool. I'm never changing it.
I mean,
But let's be honest, and let's call, like, in terms of relevancy now, let's call a spade a spade. This is just placeholder content. I mean, people who haven't cleared, well, they still have Shinryu Extreme to do, and then still have to work on clearing.
What's Shinryu Extreme going to drop? It's coming off in the off patch. It's not going to be any higher eye level than anything we already have. People that are high level rating already aren't going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to do it for shits and gigs just to say that I did it.
Yeah, get your
That's
doggo,
the thing.
maybe.
I always want to do that, but when you are in a raid group, unless you want to learn with a pug group, your raid group, unless you've already clearing O4S, is going to want to be focusing on your current raid. That's why it took me a long time to get Nidhogg done and Zervon, because the gear that it dropped at that time was already lesser eye level than what I had from raids. So at that point, it's not worth it.
Exactly. If your raid group is still in progression mode, your 3 raid nights or however many it is a week, that's what you're doing.
Right.
You're
Yes.
progging. You're not going off like, well, let's do this for funsies tonight. No one's doing
Exactly. And then you'd have to find extra time to do with pugs, and doing with pugs is painful.
that. Yeah, how horrible that must be.
Even though I've cleared O4S with a pug. Yeah, fight me, bro, with a big penis. Fight me.
Ooh, man, Sly, how do you walk around with that thing?
Man, you gotta tilt it to the side. That's how you do it.
People mistake it for my leg all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
All right, Sly, thanks for the call, man. We appreciate it. We always love hearing from you. Twitch.tv/Sly, a.k.a. Gray Fox, as well as
friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, as well as host for State of the Realm. So
Absolutely.
Make sure
the host that likes us.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Sly. We appreciate it. Again,
Also, tell Nika's husband we said hi.
Oh,
What?
if you want to call...
Happy.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Mrs. Hannah?
okay, yeah.
That's a long
I really, had
callback.
forgotten
We've been
that
off,
was the thing.
been off the air.
I thought you were making a joke like he was fucking senpai. I'm like, what does that mean?
yeah, I was really
Nobody
confused there for a
fucks
second.
senpai.
That's what I thought you
Senpai
meant.
does the fucking.
I mean, I do, but
Anyway.
Oh my.
Senpai
I mean-
fucks.
Me wants snoo.
He doesn't get fucked. He only fucks.
Anyway,
Okay,
Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you'd like to call in on Discord. We'd love to hear from you. We've only got, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes left in the show, if that. But if you want to call the show, that's how you do it. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Yes, this makes no sense. Like, in terms of gear structure, gear rewards, reward structure, none of this makes a goddamn lick of sense.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the problem, what's so frustrating about it is literally it's 5 eye levels away from being just fine. From you looking at this event and saying, like, no, good job. That's fine.
Or
Go
yeah,
for it.
at least being a step up from what they usually deliver.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's 5 eye levels away. Like it's like everything else was Square Enix. Like you're right there. You're so goddamn close. At the last second you pull the punch every time.
Yeah.
It's so close.
I swear to God that it's like the Square Enix trademark move to pull a punch. That you could call it the Square Enix pulled punch. Like I don't,
That's
you know,
super
like
original.
I know, right?
Well said.
I know.
Square Enix's fucking like logo is gonna be a boxing glove.
Like, why do they always do this? It's like they make a decision and then someone looks at it and it's like, yeah, but like that might offend somebody.
It's everything in half measures.
It is. Yeah.
And
I agree.
by the way, that's not just for the end game hardcore stuff that we want.
No, this is on a narrative level too. Yeah.
Yeah, and either mid-core and low-B content is the same way too. It's always on half measures.
Every fucking game they make, like every narrative they make is like that.
Does anyone remember the last time they felt incentivized to play Final Fantasy XIV?
I mean, yes, I do.
All right, when was it?
It was to be able to do the story episode a couple of weeks ago on Limit Break Radio. That's it.
And you provided that incentive.
Yeah.
When was the last time you felt incentivized to play the game though? Like you wanted something out of the game? I would assume for you it was probably Binding Coil story mode? Like getting the story out of Binding Coil?
Binding Coil
getting
rating,
yeah,
yeah.
probably,
That
yeah.
was a long time. I
That
think
was
for
a really
me
long time.
it was the first artifact weapon. The first relic weapon. Which that didn't even last the whole expansion because I gave
No.
up near the end.
Yeah, I know.
I think for me it was A12S. Even knowing that the weapon was going to be worthless, I wanted to clear my first raid. So I really wanted that.
Nika was probably a lot more recent.
I would assume Nika's O3S.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Are you guys on O4S now?
Yeah. No, we're on O3S, but we just finally started hitting Enrage, so we'll probably be playing
nice.
it pretty soon. Yeah.
Swag.
All right, so my Nika still has it. Good
Nika's
for you,
got it,
Nika.
yeah. That's and like there are people who still play. You can log in, you see people doing stuff and having fun. I'm just saying that number's a lot smaller than it used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that's a fair question, though. I think it's a fair question. When was the last time that you
The
really
game incentivized.
Yeah. That's a fair question. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Satori. What's going on, Satori?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for calling in. What's up?
I just wanted to say the biggest incentive for the Ultimate Fight, or for Square Enix to produce something like the Ultimate Fight, is kind of like how with Omega when the first raid groups were hitting Neo X Death. I saw a lot of blow up on my social media, and even people I know who work on World of Warcraft who got hyped about the intro for him.
You're talking about the transition from when you clear X Death and Neo X Death appears on the field? Yeah. There
was a lot of hype, and I think that is one of the big reasons why they're doing the Ultimate Fight. Not to mention the survivability of the Ultimate Fight is going to be a lot longer than some, hard mode primal you might see from Hildebrand.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's something to be said for it. Again, I'll go back and reference Divine Might out of FF11. That first time when people started realizing, well, wait a minute, if you get this item, you can challenge all 5 Archangels at once. There was an element of just oh, it's the showdown.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people were getting out of Neo X Death appearing for the first time. You're like, oh, the fight's not over.
Yeah.
That was hard already.
To be fair, when I did Divine Might, I was a level 68 white mage with an underleveled sub job.
Oh,
and did you die?
I got carried hard.
You were he was getting carried hard.
Yeah, you sure did.
Of course.
I remember popping a pen of thrust and getting lit up for a 20,000 damage spirits within. That's what I remember. That paladin was pissed.
Damn.
Yeah.
But again, I think that this all comes down to incentive. And it all comes down to the reward structure. I'm sure that the event will be fine. I'm sure that the challenge that it presents will be fine. And I'm sure that whatever additional cool graphics they put in with it will also be fine. But as a person who is not raiding, something like this should entice me into wanting to be able to participate in it and get the rewards. I do not have that here.
Why would this entice you if you're not enticed by Omega?
That is an interesting question.
This is supposed to entice people that are clearing Omega and have no reason for playing other than Omega. This is supposed to be for them.
Well, and let me ask this too. Who remembers what the reward was for clearing the 5 Archangels separately?
I don't.
Anyone remember?
No, I don't.
It was just access to Divine Might.
Yeah, no, that was it. There was nothing. You got nothing for clearing this separately. You only got the earring if you beat him in Divine Might.
Okay.
And that's the point.
But that earring you had forever.
Yeah, and exactly.
It was worth doing.
That earring was forever.
Yeah.
Supano Mimi is equipped today.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that's definitely a good point. Again though,
nothing in Final Fantasy 14 is going to last you longer than the year between the 3.4 or
it's no. The way that the current structure is, nothing will last you until the longest anything can last you is one patch. That's it. One patch cycle.
Would it hurt anything terribly bad if this raid or this savage mode of it could drop if you cleared a earring that lasts to the end of the expansion?
Just
what?
How about a ring? Because you have 2 ring slots anyway.
Sure, fine.
I'd be totally down.
What if the paladin, the tank accessory, has tenacity on it? How pissed off are they going to?
Well, it depends because we don't know how tenacity is going to scale. I mean, it is apparently rumored by people who crunch numbers that tenacity will scale better as the eye level is higher. So, in the long run, if this is something that has a shit ton of tenacity on it, sure,
maybe
I'll take it because that means
then it
I'll
would
already
scale
have more survivability at this level than I would normally.
But this and actually, Robbie, putting it as a ring is even better because what do you run into every single time you come up on Tome Grind? I can only equip one of each kind of ring.
That's true. That's a good point.
So here in this one, because
one scaling piece of gear.
When you clear it, it is your ring until the end of the expansion.
That would be. You know what? Actually,
bam,
that would
done.
do it. That would get it. That would immediately get it done. And in terms of someone who even only plays on a on a semi-regular basis, that would get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now that ring spot is filled, that's one ring spot I don't have to tome grind for ever again.
I would at least try pugging some shit, right?
Yeah, sure.
It would get me into it at least that far. But I think that that's a fair question. If you're not already into into raiding, why would this make you want to get into raiding? And I think a much longer term reward is something to dangle out there to say, like, yes, this is the reason why you would want to participate in this, and this is the reason why you would want to build, and make a concerted effort at going towards content like that. As it stands right now, there is no content that encourages me to try to work against myself and get better.
And I think that's one of the few things that would be a carrot both for raiders and for non-raiders. It's a carrot for raiders because, hey, sweet, I can get this item and I have one of my ring spots done for the rest of the expansion.
Yes.
And the same thing applies to non-raiders where they say, like, well, if I want to put the work in, or hell, in the second tier of raiding, I could go back and try to put the work in at that point and go back and get that ring.
Right. But if the reward is the exact same eye level as the raid that you just completed to be able to have entry into that fight, what purpose does that serve?
Right.
That serves even that serves even less of a purpose than trying to attract people from the mid-core into the end game. I think you'll have more success putting a long-term reward in there and attracting more people from your mid-core to the end game than you would getting repeat people coming back trying to get a reward that is analogous to what you just fucking completed.
Exactly. That's like, that ring would be good for the next 20 months of your life.
Fuck yeah.
But glamour is timeless.
But glamour is timeless. Well, you're not wrong.
That's true, but having glamour be the real goal that's not an acceptable excuse, especially hiding it behind something that difficult.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if those items or those weapons were on level 350, so I wouldn't have to worry about, hurrying up and doing the whatever 3.4.2's trial is going to be to get the weapon.
Dude, that's what the fuck I keep saying. Like, if you're going to put in content like this, or if you're going to have, like, and I had even suggested, like, you don't even have to dev the whole fucking fight. You can just put it as an RNG chest at the end of 04S.
You know what? Big Donkey called.
That was my suggestion, okay?
I think Big Donkey just called what it's actually going to be. It's going to be the Dreadworm weapons with a glow, because it's the one weapon that hasn't been like redone or craftable or anything.
He's fucking right. The Paladin Dreadworm sword though.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to be happy.
No, like if this glamour like blows my mind, super cool. Okay,
no,
maybe.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
If it's
100%,
that, no,
100%. That's what it is.
That would be so angering.
Damn, and you know what? The Dreadworm daggers actually look cool, and those are one of the daggers I don't have yet.
I'm actually gonna really look up what the Dreadworm lance looks like. I don't.
It doesn't matter. I'd be waiting till 5.0 to go back and get it anyway.
We'll be getting it when we're in Garlemald.
Yeah.
Dreadworm spear.
Damn,
no.
Donkey.
Why'd you have to ruin it for me?
Big Donkey.
Oh, the Dreadworm spear is boring.
Yeah.
Boo.
All the Dreadworm weapons are fairly boring. Like the Dreadworm body pieces are okay. The weapons not so much.
Yeah, that would be disappointing if that's what it is. But no, I think chat's kind of reacting to the idea of the scaling relic ring. I want that shit.
I am totally
absolutely
down for that.
what I want.
Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. Satori, by the way, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. We always enjoy hearing from you.
So for those who aren't able to see, which is everyone, Nero's cup is giving him a horrible time right now. That cup sucks, man.
It really does.
It's that specific one too, where like the ring always falls out.
the rubber ring.
Yeah, and it doesn't fucking work. You sent me out there to get you a drink one time, and the whole cup started falling apart in my hands. Like, this cup shouldn't do this. Cup should not just fall apart.
Didn't fall apart on me.
Well, I guess I just suck.
Yeah, more than one way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
See, why do you make the joke? Why do you bother?
Shut up. Go get a scaling ring.
Give us a call. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We've only got about 5 minutes left, but we'll